My guest is a man described as a serial entrepreneur. He is the Chief Executive Officer of Sorbet. He is Ian Fuhr. Good to chat to you, Ian.
Hi, thanks very much for having me.
What is a serial entrepreneur, in your view?
My lifelong journey has had a number of different entrepreneurial projects and businesses, and some have been successful and some not so successful, but I think it's somebody that has entrepreneurship in their blood and just keeps trying in the hope that it'll eventually come right, and thankfully we've had some successes as well.
We'll speak about Sorbet specifically, but let's talk about entrepreneurship in general. You've been involved in a number of ventures, you've had your fingers burnt. What is it about entrepreneurship that keeps you going?
I think failure is very important for an entrepreneur. I actually believe quite strongly that you have to fail at least once to be successful, because there are so many powerful lessons that you learn and that you can use in your future enterprises. And I think failure, as far as I was concerned, taught me a hell of a lot about how to be a little bit more proactive, not to be so naive, just to go out there and learn as much as you can and then use those lessons in your next entrepreneurial project.
So what you're saying is don't fear failure.
No, not at all.
It's something you can grow from.
Absolutely.
What specifically did you take out of your failures that then set you up? Are there particular moments, particular examples you can give us that others can learn from?
I think the biggest lesson, and I wasn't on my own in this particular project, I was with my brothers, but the biggest lesson for us was that we were undercapitalized, and we went ahead just thinking it would all come right, and then all of a sudden there was a bit of a problem that affected our cash flow quite badly, and we couldn't recover from that. So being capitalized properly to make sure that you have some sort of sustainability in your business is very important, and also to understand that these things take time. You know, it's a bit of a journey, and you've got to be in there for the long haul. It doesn't just happen overnight. You've got to be there, and you've got to keep working at it, and you've got to keep your head when everyone else is losing theirs around.
So it's an understanding of cash flows, money management that was your downfall in the past. Any other areas where you felt you had tripped yourself up?
I think people management also very important. You know, we've learned a lesson that, you know, in terms of how to manage people. And the important philosophy that I've learned out of my various projects over the years is that the purpose of work is to serve, not to make money. And I think that's been perhaps the single biggest lesson that I've ever learned in my business life, is if you serve well, the money will come. But if you go into it and you put reward as your priority and not service, then you're going to come short.
Tell me a little bit more about the serve. What do you mean by that?
Is that the purpose of work is to serve. So in other words, you have to serve the needs and wants of other people rather than your own personal self-interest. You always have to put service before self-interest and service before reward. So most people come into a business and they want to make as much money as they can, and employees want to get as high a salary as possible, and that's their focus. How am I going to make more money, especially in a business like this that works on commission? But from our perspective, that's the exact opposite. We don't want people that are just focused on themselves. We call those people I specialists. They just specialize in themselves. And we prefer to have people that are there to serve others, because the lesson is when you serve well, then the money comes. And I think we've worked very hard, particularly in Sorbet, on that philosophy. And I'd like to suggest that that's one of the reasons we've been successful.
Do you think too many entrepreneurs focus too much on the bottom line?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you're focusing more on the people, but it's the customer, I presume you're
correct,
referring to.
and the staff, because we're there to serve our staff. We call it servant leadership. It's a very important service philosophy. It's the way you manage people and lead them. So the servant leadership concept says we are there to serve the people who are serving the people. That's
okay, so it's a double whammy of serving.
Double whammy.
Serving your staff.
That's right, giving them everything that they need in order to be successful. So whether it's training and development, whether it's just support and encouragement, whether it's, you know, the tools and the equipment that they need, all of those things will help them to go out there and serve to the very best of their ability.